Goody!
กันรับ
Hello, my little dots. Are you ready for a sweet adventure? Well, it's the month of February, and of course that means Black History Month! Oh, and Valentine's Day. Blech. Surprisingly, that used to be my favorite holiday, but after being single so long, you just stop fully liking that holiday. However, that doesn't mean I don't love it, because all my favorite ships usually get fan art. If they're popular. I don't know if a lot of people know this, unless you've seen my fanfiction profile, but my favorite ship has always been Boomer and Bubbles, or Boom Bubbles, because it's just so wholesome, but it also can go in some pretty fun direction. Though I honestly have thought about other ships with them, which makes me feel like they could have a poly relationships, which I'll go into later. For now, let's start the video with...
I don't like arguing. Why can't we all just get along? Instead of fighting and arguing.
If you have been at least in the early Powerpuff fandom, you know that Chubby Bubbles has always been a normal concept. At first, I thought I had done them a few times, but looking at the old outfit designs, I only had her in an hourglass figure with a bigger chest and hips than her sisters. As an artist, it is my job, hopefully job, to learn all ranges of body types. So we are making Chubby Bubbles. So I started with an hourglass, but more of a rounded hourglass, because there is going to be another character that is bigger than her. In normal figures, fat usually builds around the thighs, lower legs, upper arms, forearms, face, tummy, chest, and bottom. I've done a few studies on it, but since I haven't kept it up, I knew it was going to be a struggle. I felt it was mostly alright here, especially the chest area and the lower half, so I moved on to the clothing. Now, I've always had an idea of what I wanted Bubbles to wear, as you can see from her old outfits. I honestly didn't want to change them, but these looks were more for her teen tween time, so I needed to think hard. If you haven't noticed by now, I have been trying to come up with new outfits without fully just copying the examples. I was looking a lot at Color Me Courtney from Instagram, since she's a plus size creator with a passion for fashion. Yet, again, I was struggling with the look. I tried a bubble skirt, but it didn't look right. I didn't feel like the bottom area of Bubbles wasn't correct, so I added more fat onto her body. Then I tried a smoother but bigger skirt on her. Yeah, that also didn't feel right. I moved up to the top because I didn't feel like struggling anymore, but nope, struggled there too. I did a V-neck, but I noticed my old designs liked using heart-shaped collars, so I did that instead. I couldn't figure out which sleeves I wanted, so I drew one long and flowy while the other one was poofy and big. I went with the poofy, but later I felt like the outfit was starting to look like pajamas, which is not the look I was going for. I practically wanted to start over and give up. But no, I was determined to make this work. So I removed the sleeves and changed the bottom skirt to a sarong or a wrapped skirt. Again, I had to redo it a few times, but I wasn't going to give up. I noticed a lot of chubby women wearing belts, so I knew I was going to give one to Bubbles. Plus, it would make it look either like a dress or a skirt. I also messed with the straps again, but kept them up instead. I was finally done with the outfit. Mostly, and decided to work on the face and hairstyle. Bubbles will have long hair, but in her adult years it is short, and I usually put it to the side or in a bun. The eyes and mouth were giving me a bit of trouble, especially since adding fat to the cheeks made her look too old. Oh, just realized I haven't talked about Bubbles as a character yet, so let's take a break from me complaining. Bubbles has always been this kind-hearted, cute character with a creative eye. And I'm definitely not changing that. I like her bubbly personality. However, I am definitely adding a charisma factor that she doesn't fully know she's got. She will have a few insecurities like her weight, but Boomer, Robin, Mike, and Mitch are always there keeping her doubts down. She grows up to be an artist focused on realism, like landscapes, portraits, etc., which makes her very popular to boot. She's living the dream. Though I can't confirm any sexuality/romantic alignments for the characters yet, because it's not a big deal for me. But with the blues, I will tell you. Bubbles is that pansexual icon for me, and as I mentioned before, a polyamory has formed. But not all of them will label as a polyamory, since of course the main ships are established and sometimes labels are confusing. Anyways, I was having a bit of trouble with the line art, only because the face was not looking right for me. Once I'm fully done with the character sheets, I will show you their expressions that I referenced as I was working on the images. But this smile was a little too creepy, so I changed it after messing with the eyes a bit. I decided the colors need to go with gold since I wanted some accessories just so that Bubbles has a bit of an expensive taste. A brown skirt with darker blue shoes and belt just gave her a fancy look. She's also the only one that has full makeup on, like blush cheeks, and if I had done a different eye expression, there would have been eyeshadow. Shading was simple, and if you don't know, blonde hair or the color yellow for highlights needs to be on a different layer. I discovered this after making my thumbnail for my Paper Planes meme, which you should totally watch. Once fully done, I put her on the height sheet with the rest of the crew.
You girls are gonna eat your words, spit them out, and eat them again!
Now, Boomer has always been a character that I wanted to explore more since my DeviantArt days. If you haven't noticed, I have drawn the roughs in a similar form because if you remember, him gave them a cutie shot that helped strengthen them. Keeping that in mind, I always made them stronger looking, while the girls are allowed to have different body shapes. But don't worry, not everyone's going to be a muscle head. I gave him a triangle shape like Brick, but have a full chest like Butch, giving them more of a connection. I also stole Brick's arm because I am trying to make my life easier. Copying your own work is all good and helps with time. So with Boomer's character sheet, I knew some of them were perfect for his youth, just like Bubbles. But as I was planning this out, I felt like some things needed to reflect how I was feeling about Boomer's character. Since the Rowdy Ruffs were reborn, they had different personalities, which I honestly think was good because they just felt the same in the first episode they were in. However, I always hated that people thought he was dumb. I actually had a full theory on Boomer on my DeviantArt that was explaining different disabilities he might have. As a teacher, I needed to study different disabilities, and I believe Boomer has autism. I actually would like to explore this with his character more because autism is a spectrum, and I do feel like people think it limits the group of people. I have taught autistic kids, and yes, they see the world differently, but they are smart in their own ways. Boomer is definitely inspired by some of the kids I had, but again, still different, kind of. Boomer will be an accountant when he grows up since words/language feels like it's not his strong suit. So I had him in dress pants like Butch, but he also is more looser since he can actually work at home or even go to people's places. I gave him an open dress shirt because he's very proud of his chest hair and it gives him room to touch his chest hair to calm him down. I gave him loafers since he's not a fan of texture on most socks, and of course kept his glasses because I'm on the mindset that the blues always have some physical disadvantage about them. But unlike the professor, Mojo wouldn't give it much thought to fix it. The blue member's hair always gives me trouble, but I think I did okay here. I also gave Boomer a flirtier expression than Bubbles because unlike her, he uses his charisma more manipulative to get what he wants. Since he is my bisexual icon here, I know everyone thinks of Boomer as, Boomer is a baby! He's not an evil being! He's the good one! Which again, I am guilty of doing, but I want the boys to be more neutral evil or chaotically neutral villains. The lineup was a lot smoother this time, even if my brush was acting up, not my pen. I checked. Honestly, feels like I have gotten better at the characters since the Reds, which is nice. Also, did you notice that I made the Red boys' facial hair black, but when I did Boomer's chest hair, I made it blonde? something I will consistently do, don't worry. So something that I wanted to do with this batch is have one thing match to show the couples. Boomer and Bubbles both wear the same brown bottoms, because they are honestly super close. I accidentally grabbed the wrong blue, but it was an easy fix, and I felt like Boomer would look nice with a half and half shirt. I made one side purple to match with the light purple shoes, which also fits with his orange glasses. Once done, I did the shading and lighting while also making sure to give actual lenses for his glasses. The boy can't see without his glasses! Once done, I added him to the height chart next to Bubbles.
Time's up!
Okay, another fan favorite was Mike Believe. That, I believe, became the inspiration for Matt from Foster's Home from Imaginary Friends. I decided to give him a trapezoid shape, but sometime within the process, I wanted to also make Mike a plus-size character. He wouldn't be worried about it like Bubbles, and I know Robin would love to cuddle him a lot because of it. Since I already did Bubbles, I was more comfortable doing the proportions of Mike's chub. Mike was another character that I haven't drawn before, but still wanted to give my best foot forward. I like to call his fashion sense sad boy, even though he's not fully sad, despite the expression I'm going to draw later. I also wanted him to be an artist, however, unlike Bubbles, he's still trying to get his name out there, especially since his art is more abstract. He is content doing his work, and probably does classes for younger kids with a character that I haven't introduced yet. I decided to connect Robin and him as a couple with their shapes of pants and loving sweaters. I noticed I didn't have any boys with medium hair, and I felt like art guys have long hair. I was also going to do a man bun to also tie into Robin, but felt like a ponytail was better. I will make his look a lot messier, and I think I was also getting the Greg Universe vibes from him. The line art was a bit tricky this time, since I felt like using straight lines on the sweater wasn't gonna give the texture I wanted, so I bit the bullet and made it with squiggly lines, which helped a lot. I also decided to put the paint stains in another layer instead of lining it to make it feel more natural. Coloring was easy since I took the gray from his shirt and put it on his pants. And of course, blue is the color that is linked to sadness, so I did a muted blue, which increased the sad boy energy I was going for. The black squiggle lines stood out too much, so I made them a darker blue than the main sweater. I also use a paint-style brush to make the paint stains more realistic. Gives him more of a character and gives a contrast to Bubbles' put-together look. Once done with the lighting and shading, I added him to the height chart. Well, I'm on a roll with these designs. Again, I hope these designs inspired someone. It's okay to draw different body types, even if it's hard at first. Boomer was my favorite this time, but both Bubbles and Mitch were tied, since they were both fighting me so hard. Well, anyways, here's the lineup for the first batch. And yes, I said first batch of characters for my hopefully series Powerpuff era. Now, I wonder if anyone has noticed the little clue I left on the first video. I doubt it. So I will let you see the animation again a few more times. Did you get it? However, I'm gonna take a break from Powerpuff content so I can recharge my brain juice to start the next batch of characters. I think I might have a few projects I want to start and work on since animation takes time, and making a video every week can be a bit draining. Maybe I'll work on some other fandoms like the VTuber Alpha Anarchy or Hasman Hotel. Hope that is okay. But until then, keep moving forward, my little dots. Your sugary journey is arising.